we're gonna go. We have nothing really to talk about, so we're gonna go over the Japanese sales very quickly. And PlayStation can still continue to do poorly. I just don't get all these Japanese companies. I get like Square Enix. Why do you keep supporting the PS5? Every game you release on the PS5 does way worse. That's horribly. Okay, compare that to like Mario RPG. Is it even? If it's still on here, Mario RPG. Mario RPG is still on here, but Mario RPG is so better than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in 1 week. Okay, this is embarrassing, of course, for Square Enix because they prioritize graphics over sales, and this is I get, but again, I think these developers need to warn that they need to put these games when the next Switch console comes out next year. Then they need to back Nintendo instead of Sony because this is embarrassing for Sony and Square Enix and all these massive third-party AAA developers. Like, absolutely no one cares about any of these, AAA games in Japan. And they'll say, but what digital sales? What about digital sales? Japan is very loving of physical media, obviously. A lot of Switch games continue to sell well on physical media as well. The number one game in Japan currently is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We'll see if people actually buy Stellar Blade in Japan. I'm really curious to see how that game sells because they'll say, well, people love, sexy women in video games, but no one buys Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but people will buy Mario. Okay, people will buy Mario in Japan. People will buy Pokemon in Japan. Okay, people will buy Smash Bros. Still in Japan. Okay, Tears of the Kingdom is still in the top 30 games in Japan. Okay, but the narrative is Tears of the Kingdom is just DLC for Breath of the Wild. But Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is still in the top 30 games. Okay, which is very, very impressive. Mario Party, Superstars, Super Mario Party are still selling well in Japan. Scarlet and Violet is still selling well in Japan. This includes the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero version as well. And when will these developers learn? That is my question. When will these AAA developers learn that that Nintendo is the console to put their games on? Not Sony, at least in Japan. Of course, in the West, they can put them on PlayStation because PlayStation is still very successful in the West. But in Japan, Sony PS5 isn't selling too well still. Okay, Xbox isn't either, but, it is still selling better than the Xbox One. That is an achievement for Xbox, at least, for that. But the PS5 is selling far worse than the PS4. Okay, I think it might end up selling around 7 to 8 million copies, which is worse than the PS4. But that is pretty sad sales for Sony. This is a decline from the last console. Okay, I don't think the Switch 2 will sell as well as the Switch 1 in Japan. The Switch 1, unless Nintendo pulls like a rabbit out of the hat, it is going to be very, very difficult for them to beat the original Switch sales and the phenomenon passing that. Again, they call it the Nintendo curse, like the Game Boy Advance sold worse than the Game Boy, the Wii U. We don't talk about that. The 3DS sold worse than the 3DS. I think the Switch 2 will still pass $100 million copies globally for sure. But I just don't think it will sell as the first Switch. I think it will sell similar to the first Switch, or sell slightly worse. But yeah, this is an embarrassment for Sony. Absolute embarrassment. And then we're told that graphics matter by these developers. Like, we care so much about graphics, but Nintendo is still completely, utterly destroying Sony in Japan. That's about this video here. Goodbye.